Okay, now I'm looking at what is illusion. Hopefully I won't get cut off. This is page 318. This is some of the things that from day 351, that's chapter 15 of the definitions. And, trying to flip through to what is it like with no illusion, okay? 307, what is it like with no illusion? Okay, so there's a lot on that one. I'm trying to flip over to, okay, well, what is time? That's 362. It's chapter 17 of the definitions. And this book is The Sovereign Light, A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality. And Rama stands for Reverend Maria Arvanitides. And so this is part 2 from What is Metaphysical Spirituality. I believe, okay, so if this was what is time, so, whatever I put in here, I can keep changing. Everything keeps changing, and more information comes to me. And, we all evolve and go through an involution and an evolution, and there's like a duality to everything. And that's where the contradictions and the paradox, and when we can understand both and integrate them and merge with them, meaning we close the gap between the poles, we end up in another, it goes beyond this book actually to the next level. And right, and so what we have here is what is metaphysical spirituality? Well, what I've noticed is, okay, so we're taking apart in order to understand, and we're trying to merge the two in a timeless space where there is no time. Everything is timeless. We're into that 0 point field, and then we can create. So what happens is we can live a life of both the physical and the spiritual. And this metaphysical spirituality is all about me, my initiation into this reverency of the Canadian International Metaphysical Ministry. Okay. And so this is my way of, well, for one thing, how I interpret in my filters is I find that the past is masculine and the future is feminine, and what the here and now is the merging of the two, and the physical world is already past. We see it physically. We're touching it. It's proof. It's the proof. But it's also the past. And if we try to hang on to some saharas, I don't know how to say that, but it's also in the Buddhist concept. So if we try to hold on to some, we're going to suffer. If we're going to try to prove things and keep things in that kind of way, it kind of, that river that flows, that fresh water, that's the other thing of our divinity, that energy, okay? It blocks it. We're restraining it in trying to hold on to that past. Now that's not refreshing, is it? And so this is what happens. But in a way it's good too, because it creates structure for that flow to go. It doesn't have to be intrusions or blockages either. So we can learn how to integrate both of them and live in this way of the material world, and which is the physical, and the spiritual, which is this thing that is essential to our creation in any event. So this is part 2, and I think this was 364. No, okay. So 364. What is metaphysical spirituality? I don't know if I did 365 365. So I must have not done 365. In the ever-expanding of awareness, I wish to know myself. So this is what it's all about, and I think I've introduced it right now. Let's do it. And I will start reading. Consciousness is spirit. The spirit created the soul, and the soul, the self, to replay back within such incremental steps all the way down as consciousness, wanting to know itself better. You know, it could work both ways, one or the other. Any way you interpret it, so this could be the contradiction too. Which came first, the egg or the chicken, right? So, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I normally don't, October 2nd, and I've decided this is important. So the purpose of these affirmations were always to practice in the forming of the will, the strength, and within the conscious concentration to come out of the daily distractions that would have it play in anything other than itself, to be routine. And here's the chorus to the verses. Okay, lesson 318. In the ever-expanding of awareness, I wish to know myself. The very attraction of the unknown to the known, and from it the very fear of self, the ego mind has always expressed in many other ways to channel through from some external entity that can excuse the self from doing, and that it in fact is the messenger directly for these lessons and this course. Spirituality is all about the consciousness of self, wishing to know itself, and through this dance of evolution that it has grown through such relations of evolution and involution. I don't know if I spoke about this or I got cut off on the first time around, but anyways, yes. So through the experiences of consciousness, while self is aware from its level of existence, can the soul too grow and expand outward. Evolved from its slumber to once more awaken and rise from the religions, the enlightened state of metaphysical spirituality is once more expressing as creation. And here we go, the last page is 846, and these are the excerpts, these 2 pages. So it's 845 to 846, and in the ever-expanding of awareness, I wish to know myself. Failure had much to do with the lack of understanding to appreciate and accept the unlimited abundance it deserves to dare to dream of, imaginably so, from out of its own choice steps out of the box with a platform to stand on, to create and play with other like-minded parts of itself. These are the days of peerless moments where all is welcomed to play with, that do not oppress or overpower from their own disconnect to overthrow with lack and scarcity. As there is nothing to be compared, nor compete with, in such a world where there is only that of atonement and nothing else less worthy of. by waking up to notice the choices and varieties from the richness of its diversity, and from this depth the many opportunities that can embrace the self for its experience, was never meant to be as separate and divided to oppose as contrast for the self. And from this magnetic field of poles that changed the like, attracting like, was the experience. Consciousness is the playing field, and everything that exists in consciousness the self might want or not want to place attraction to, for its reality to be impressed upon its consciousness with for its experience. Yeah, it's like it's a deflection and reflection, which is the pushing away or the attraction of. And so with everything there is a paradox, because it's contrast and expansion. See, it's the duality, right? So with metaphysical, it's the combining of the past, which is the physical, and the spirit, which is the feminine, the future, and the creation of both, creator and creation. Okay, so but when we merge, we try to merge the two by working through it and integrating it and accepting it and being and doing and all these things. Okay, that we play with the divine. Okay, and it's not a matter of controlling, but surrendering into it and allowing it to happen and responding and making those decisions and the choices that we are aware of within each and every moment. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. And so that's what metaphysical spirituality, and I guess I will take it to part 3, which is the next one, and it will be 847 to 848, and why not? It will be the last pages of this book. What is metaphysical spirituality? That would be 365. So until then, much love. And this book is The Sovereign Light, A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality, by me, Reverend Maria. Thank you. Bye-bye.